four-leaf clover on my breast, and the green and white upon my chest. It's such a joy for us to see, for they play football the Celtic way, for they play football the Celtic way, for they play football the Celtic way, 'cause they play football the Celtic way.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Friday Focus show on the Four Leaf Clover podcast. As you can see, one of our guys is missing it. So Jerry's had to cancel last minute. He's going to Turkey first thing in the morning. And the whole McMillan clan have came round to see him and the family off. So he's got a house full. So he couldn't jump onto the podcast. But we hope you have an absolute belter of a holiday, Jerry, from everybody here at the Four Leaf Clover podcast. So before we go round the lads, we have got a new signing at Celtic. We can exclusively reveal that Celtic have signed this man this evening. Absolute shambles as our lads. Paddy, how are you getting on, sir?
Yeah, all good this side of the water, Scott. Just finished another busy week at work there, so just looking forward to the weekend. That's made a Tuesday again, so again, what better way to start your weekend than spending it with the viewers and the lads on the Four Leaf Clover podcast. Doesn't get better than that, Scott.
Excellent, mate, and it's great to have you as ever. And it's great to have the big man below you as well, Stephen. How are you getting on, sir?
That's it. Just living life, Scotty. Just living life, flying by. So it is just. I think the older you get, I'm telling you, your days just go by in the blink of an eye. But I'm doing well. Keep busy.
Good man. Good man. And Paddy, you're going to have to take over the show tonight if I pass it. It's 40 degrees over here today, and I'm absolutely sweating one's Brad Pitts off. You want to give a wee shout out to one of our regular followers, don't you, Paddy?
I certainly do, Scott. Yeah, so this is Terry Donnelly, my wee mate Terry, but one of my travelling buddies. So, and this is Terry's latest addition to the wee family. This is Toby Sean, who arrived into the world in the early hours of Thursday morning. Just around about 26 minutes past 2, weighed in at 6 pounds and 13 ounces. So I just want to give a big shout out to Terry and Lisa and all the rest of the Donnelly family on their wee addition. And Terry promises me that the wee man will know the words of the Celtic song before he's 1 year old. So we'll hold you to that, Terry. But listen, mate, it's great news for you. Been fantastic for yourself and Lisa, and we're all just delighted for you.
Aye, absolutely delighted, and congratulations to you, Terry, the missus and the wee man. Just one more quick bit of news before we get into the actual podcast. I don't know if you actually seen Paddy and Stephen, a Celtic supporting couple climbed the Empire State Building, and the man got down on one knee and proposed to his good lady. They unfurled a flag as well when they got to the top. And that was just absolutely beautiful to see. We do have an X channel, ladies and gentlemen, on Twitter, the Four Leaf Clover podcast. If you jump on there, give us a wee follow. We will endeavour to follow you back. Patrick?
Yeah, also our Planet Celtic page over on Facebook. So, again, we're up near the 70,000 followers mark, and it's just bonkers, the numbers that are on there. So, if you haven't had a wee chance, please go on there to Facebook. Have a wee look at the Planet Celtic page there, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and share it with your friends and your family, and let's see how far we can push this one.
Yeah, absolute belter of a channel if you're on the old Facebook. We do have a Discord channel as well. If you go into the Play Store, download Discord, type in the Four Leaf Clover podcast. We do try and get a wee chat with you before and after the podcast, so get on there as well. So, no pressure from Martin O'Neill to go over tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as we normally do on a Friday. Stephen McManus has been chatting today. I had a wee quick look at that on Celtic TV. Just delighted that the players are back, said they're looking strong, all that carry on. Two players, though, from the squad that are looking very strong, Paddy, are Alistair Johnston and Austin Trusty. They are the only two Celtic players left at the World Cup after Benjamin Nygren's Sweden got knocked out by France the other night, 3-0. They got absolutely pumped. So they did. So Paddy, what's your thoughts on Alistair Johnston and Big Austin Trusty at the World Cup at the minute? Alistair Johnston's Canada, they've got Morocco coming up on Monday night, I believe it is. And then the USA have drawn Belgium. So they have, what are you making of the two guys? Do you think they'll be coming home soon, or do you think they've got a chance?
They absolutely have a chance, Scott. And what I will say is I think they've been stealing a bit of our thunder there, Scott. I think they must have been watching our last man standing. I think that must be what the players were doing. We're down to the final two now. So no, listen, they have an excellent chance of going through. Morocco have been a breath of fresh air. They're a really good team. They really did give Brazil all they wanted. Beat Scotland, and Scotland for me just didn't engage enough. But they've looked really, really good. But the Canada being one of the host nations, it's going to make it very, very tough for anybody who plays them. Alistair Johnston has been outstanding in every game so far. He's been an absolute breath of fresh air there. Austin Trusty too as well. Doesn't always start the game, but he's getting a run as a sub and stuff, and he's even scored for them in one of the games. So he's actually shown up very well as well. So I would think that the two of them will be quietly confident, Scott. Morocco and Belgium, at this stage, they've managed to escape what you would class as the big guns. They're not up against Germany or France or some of the rest of these heavy hitters, maybe Argentina, something like that. So I would think that they'll fancy their chances in those games. But again, Belgium have quality players as well, and so do Morocco. A young guy in the middle of the field for Morocco who stood out Bouazi, I think his name is. Yeah. Absolutely unbelievable talent. Stood out really well in every single game. Obviously, the Belgians have their quality. Lukaku, De Bruyne, get these guys here. They've got quality. But what the Canadians have shown so far is a resolute and a willingness to fight and battle for every single ball. That was shown in the last game where they kept going right to the last kick of the ball, and they got the winner, deservedly so, in their last game. So, no, I would think the two guys will be pleasantly surprised that they're maybe still in the competition at this stage. But given the way the draw has fallen for them, I would think that they'll be quietly confident about going through. And listen, if the worst happens and they don't make it through, they can both come home with their heads held high. They've had a fantastic tournament, brilliant. They've raised the profile of football in that part of the world, and they'll both be delighted with that. So it's a win-win for the guys, Scott.
Yeah, Stephen, I see you're sporting your international top as well tonight. Canada and Mexico, the sort of host tournaments are doing. The hosts of the tournament are doing very, very well. Mexico, I don't think I've even conceded a goal yet.
No, they haven't. No. As Paddy says, I don't think. Excuse me, Canada's won a game in the World Cup before, or they've certainly. This is the first time they've progressed through to the knockout stages. And I tell you, they've played really, really, really good. Really good. Alistair Johnston, I know we've spoken about it. We spoke about it before the World Cup and who we want to watch. He's been absolutely brilliant. I know he's came back from an injury, so he'll be probably fresher than a lot of the players earlier. But he is, Scott, I'm telling you. And part of me is like, he's a Celtic guy, he's one of our guys, I want him to do well. But then I don't want him to do too well that people come in sniffing for him, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. But he's definitely turned up. He's turned up in every single game. And they've got a good chance because I watched the highlight. No, I watched the game. That Alphonso Davies is coming back for them and all. So they're getting a couple of good players coming back. And I fancy Canada's chances more than USA's because the American striker got sent aft, didn't he? He's been banging in the goals for them. He's been playing well. So I think Canada's got made a chance in America. But the two sides are they're doing better than any bookmaker would have bet, if you know what I mean. They're doing really well, and the two of them are showing up for themselves in their country, so I am proud of them.
I think America's going to find it tough now with their man up top. He got sent off the other night, and it was a shocking sending off, by the way. It was never, ever a red card.
He was trying to shield the ball, and it's this VAR, see when they slow everything down and they get the angles. The point of contact is on the guy's ankle, but it's a contact sport. You're going to get comings together like that. It's just a pity it kind of get rescinded. They can only get added on, if you know what I mean. They can only get upgraded and rather than rescinded. So it's unfortunate for the guy because he's had a cracking tournament. But you never know, they might have somebody else and know how on the bench or something that can bang in a goal for them. But the tournament's heating up, and I'm telling you, I've not enjoyed a World Cup like this for a while. By the way, I've really enjoyed this one.
Aye, it was a fuck up by VAR, that one for sure. It was always going to be scared when you watch the sort of replay back. So Celtic this week, even though we haven't signed any players, Paddy, we have brought out a new range of Clover. I don't know if you managed to catch this. Our Liam Scales there, Sebastian Tenetke, the wee man, Callum Osmond, and don't know who that is, maybe Louis Palmer missing in action as ever. What are you thinking of the new range then, Paddy? The stadium range, I believe it's called.
I'm impressed with it, Scott. I think it's fantastic. It's one of the best we've come up with for quite some time. It's just unfortunate that it comes right in the middle of this, still this debate going on between the supporters and the board. And they are still trying to, one of the strategies that they're trying to use is to try to starve the board of money. So they're still going on with not another penny. But listen, it's going to be very difficult, Scott. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If anybody wants to buy the stuff, I have absolutely no issue with that at all. I'll probably buy it myself. It's a really nice range of stuff. It really does. It reminds me of the Nigerians from one of the previous World Cups. That's what Daniel Amakachi and those guys. That's what it reminds me of. But it looks super smart. Really, really good. It's quite expensive. There's one of the tops is I think it's a tracksuit is £100 for the track jacket on its own. I think the football shirt is 80, and I think the t-shirt might be 25. So it's not cheap. But listen, it's for everybody to decide, Scott. I can't tell people whether to buy it or not buy it. It's very difficult. I mean, I'm the same. I've got Caleb is just whatever stuff Celtic produce. Caleb wants to have that the next day. So it's very difficult when you've got children or grandchildren and they're seeing the latest stuff and they want you to buy it. So it really is. It's down to personal choice. But I think it's a really good range. It looks really good. I think it will be a big seller. It probably will be a big seller. But again, it just highlights again the example of how important it is that we get this sorted out and we get this put to bed once and for all, so that the fans can continue to put their money back into the club again and not feel that they have to try and withhold the funds. Because I can understand the strategy and I can understand what they're trying to do, but in the long run, it's only going to harm the team and it's going to harm the club. It's as simple as that. But again, it's a really good range. I think it's really smart looking. It's really good. And I think it'll be a big seller.
Yeah, and Stephen, I think you're going to have to get your hand in your pocket, mate, because the good lady, she loves it, mate. So I think that was a wee hint there for you in the comments.
I've seen that. That was like two that I'm going to have to buy then, isn't it?
What are you thinking, big man?
I know, and I see the Nigeria thing. I see the Republic of Ireland, Italy '94 top. The away top. Remember they had Opal across it. See, when I seen it, that's what popped into my head straight away. I like it. We always do come out with a nice range. I always do like it, new tops. And I was probably like Paddy's Caleb. See, when I was younger and I'd see a new top, I was between me and my brother, we would have to be the first one to get to the shop to see who would wear it first. Yeah. I can actually remember going up to court as a witness as well with a brand new Celtic top on. I just got out the sports shop and had to go to court for a witness. I was like, aye, but I'm older now, I'm a bit more frugal with my money, but at least as though it's two of them I'm going to have to get this year.
It certainly does, mate. Aye, it's an absolute belter, and
I like it.
I might have to fork out for that one myself. So, some managerial news just broke this evening as well, lads. He was linked with us. He was linked with the Scotland job. And I think he's been linked with the Japan job. But he's now going to be, unbelievably, Cristiano Ronaldo's new manager. He'll be plying his trade against Brendan Rodgers over in Saudi Arabia. Big Ange Postecoglou, Paddy, has been named the Al Nassr manager, 2-year deal. What are you making of that?
What a move for him, Scott. Absolutely. What a move for the big guy. And you know what? He thoroughly deserves it. I can't say that I'm not delighted for him. I would love to have seen him back in the dugout at Celtic Park. But I think, you know, early on that became clear that he wasn't interested in going back. What a move for him. And after the way he was treated by Spurs and then latterly at Nottingham Forest, it's just brilliant for him. The guy is just a top-class manager. There's no question of that. Wherever he goes, he turns losing teams into winners, and he always ends up with trophies. And there's no denying that. His record speaks for itself. In every country that he's worked in and every job that he's worked in, he's been a roaring success. Probably disappointed myself in that. I think the decision to leave Celtic after the cup final that year was probably the Spurs job probably came along a wee bit sooner than he really expected. He always harboured ambitions about going to the Premiership, and I have no doubt that he probably would have stayed with Celtic for another season or maybe even another couple of seasons. But that a move to the Premiership and a move to one of the big clubs in the Premiership came for him really, really unexpectedly. I think Ange realised himself he was probably going to have to do what Brendan Rodgers did to get into the Premiership. He was probably going to go to a lesser like a Crystal Palace, a Nottingham Forest, whatever, some at that stage. But the chance to get a move to the Premiership and a move to a club like Spurs, like, it was a no-brainer for him. So I don't hold any malice to him at all. The big guy he's always been straight and up front. He kept his cards close to his chest towards the end of the season, and I'm just delighted for him. He's obviously going to be making a boatload of money out there. Not that Big Ange is short of a few bob or anything like that there, but I'm just really delighted for him, and it will be interesting to see how what kind of magic he can weave with a team in that league, especially when he's up against, you know, the likes of Brendan in one team, and there's quite a few teams there have quite a few big top stars from Europe and what have you playing out there, playing their trade there. So it will be good to see how he is. But, you know, knowing Big Ange, that's exactly the kind of challenge that's right up his street. You know, the chance to go there, build a new team, make an impact, and hopefully win trophies out there. So I couldn't be more delighted for him. I wish him all the best, Scott, because he was fantastic for us when he was here. Probably aside from Tommy Burns, probably my most favourite spell when his first couple of years here. The football was sensational. You know, when you think of the players that he brought us, and you know, we still have some of these guys. You know, we had the Japanese lads coming in, you know, and stuff. And you think of other guys like Giakoumakis and these guys that he brought in from countries that we'd never dabbled in before. So I wish him all the very best, and I hope he's a success out there.
Yeah. Stephen, we might have to get you doing a wee segment, Ange versus Brendan. We might have to keep an eye on this Saudi Arabian league. What are you making it, Big Ange, getting the Al Nassr job, pal?
So I'll just send me out to Saudi and we can put it on the podcast tab, right? I'll go there for the year and I can report back every week. That sounds a good number. Not like everybody. And you know what? And probably every Celtic fan, right-minded Celtic fan, would wish him all the best. He came in when our club needed turned out, reinvented, and he came out and he put his own stamp on the team, brought in a new, you know, the Japanese boys and that. We played some brilliant football, won hundreds of trophies, and he was ambitious. He left, he didn't leave in any bad terms or nothing like that. So you've got to wish him all the best. But just when you said that there, a wee things went off in my head. I seen an interview he done, and it was to pick his best five-a-side football team for the players he's managed.
Yeah.
Callum McGregor, he picked Callum McGregor to play in that. And now there was already rumours that Callum McGregor was going to go to Saudi. And no, with him earlier, just as he came up, I was like, oh no. We were talking about Maeda going, Hatate going, Negrin going, Engels going, and now Big Ange with the money on Saudi Arabia. If he likes Callum McGregor trying to tempt him away from us, so I'm like, oh please no. We're trying to hold our team together here. But I wish him all the best. And you know what? I think he'll do well as well. If he goes out there, builds a new team. And he came to Scotland, nobody really heard him. Built as a brand new team, brand new way of playing football, exciting, fast football, cracking manager, top man. Wish him all the best.
That's a great call, by the way. I didn't even think about that. Calmac linking up with Ronaldo and Big Ange. Imagine that. Unbelievable. So 2-year deal for Big Ange. Best of luck for him. We'll keep Martin O'Neill for 2 years and then we'll have you back, Ange. Don't worry about it. We'll take you back after 2 years. If you're going to Saudi, Stephen, you're going yourself. You're not welcome in Saudi Arabia, Lisa. I promise you that. I've been twice. It's not a good place for the old ladies. Okay. So moving on, Paddy, we have a new addition to our coaching staff in the past week since last week's podcast, and it is Ross Grant, who was at Hearts. I think Derek McInnes would have loved to have taken him to the Rangers, but he has opted to come to Celtic. Which something we've spoke about on this podcast quite a bit, mate, is set pieces. And Hearts were brilliant at them last year, to be fair. They were the best in the league, for and against, by a country mile. And it was all down to this man. I mentioned it earlier that Stephen McManus was talking to Celtic TV today, or the Celtic Player, whatever the fuck it's called these days. He totally transformed Hearts, and it's something we certainly need as a set piece specialist.
Absolutely, Scott. As we've waxed lyrical about it on more than one occasion on this podcast, both defensively and offensively. We're no threat in the opposition box, and we lose too many goals from set pieces. I think Hearts stung us 3 or 4 times from set pieces over the last season. Even in the last game of the season, we lost a very basic goal to Shankland at the back post, if you remember back to the last game. It's great. And what I can gather so far, Scott, the comments coming out of Lennoxtown, even just in the first few days, is that so far they are really impressed with this guy. He's come up with a lot of new ideas and a lot of new tweaks to the system and stuff. So I heard Stephen McManus on this afternoon talking about he's been like a breath of fresh air coming in, and he has come up with some really good ideas and really good strategies for them going forward. So let's just hope that we can reap the benefits here. I know there was stories going about that, that Hearts got rid of him and stuff like that. That's not the truth at all. The truth of the matter is that the new guy coming in had his own men, and Celtic were aware of that. And I would imagine that at the very first opportunity that he got to jump to Celtic, he actually jumped on it. So there's no truth in that rumour whatsoever. The new Hearts manager brought in his own people, as managers sometimes do. So, no, I'm delighted to have this guy on board. The one thing I will say is I think it will go hand in hand maybe this summer. I think Martin O'Neill will want us to get bigger and more physical in terms of the goals that we score from set pieces and how we defend. We're a very small team, and we've been saying it for a number of years now. That we, and when you think back to, the giants that Martin O'Neill surrounded himself with, like Mjalby and Balde and Varga, and Valhar and these guys, I think Martin O'Neill will want to look at that, and I think that's the kind of profile of a player that he'll be looking at now this summer. We'll be looking at bringing in a bit of steel and a bit of dig, because how many times did we say last year that we were bullied in the midfield and we were bullied here, and we were just simply out-muscled, even in games against Motherwell and Dundee United, So I think it's a good move for Celtic. It's a brilliant move for the guy himself, and I think he's already made a difference from what I can gather.
Yep, a team full of big bastards. That would be brilliant to have anything resembling that Seville team again. And Stephen, it would help this man out greatly, who is a set piece specialist, as we've seen last season at Hearts.
Yeah. Before I came on, I've wrote doing some stats right for Hearts last year. Corner goals 16, successful corners 89, headed goals 20. Set piece chances 80. All of them are first in the full league. You see, so he's a set piece guy. The set piece chances 80. Celtic were 8th in the league in set piece chances. 8th. So, he ticks all the boxes, isn't it? If you're getting a guy that's getting all these numbers with a Hearts team, get him into us. I think it's a cracking addition. And look at the set piece guy for Arsenal as well. You know what, Arsenal, I think this is a new way of coaching into it, like a set piece specialist. Yeah. And we don't really have one. And we conceded a lot ago. We didn't score many corners and all last year. So I think this is a good guy. And if Martin O'Neill can get some of his type of players now, some big guys, hopefully we can be getting out stats like this for this season coming. Here's home, if it fits the bill, like it.
Aye, it looks like an excellent addition to the coaching team, and welcome to Ross to the best club in the world. So we have actually made a couple of signings, ladies and gentlemen. So stop getting Celtic grief. They've signed 2 16-year-olds, right? They've signed a boy called Warren Lyle from Dundee, who is a Scottish youth internationalist. He goes straight into the B team. The youths and another boy from across Paddy's neck of the woods, Shea McGarry, has also been signed. 2 16-year-olds who bring a lot of promise. But we have actually had a bid for a player rejected today, Paddy, and it is this dude here, Camilo Duran, who is a striker. I tasked everybody off on the old group chat to have a wee look at this guy on YouTube today. I actually had a good study of him myself today. He looks pretty decent, 24 years old, scored 15 goals last season. 10 appearances in the Champions League. Paddy managed to get 5 goals. I think he scored against Newcastle. I think it was Benfica as well he scored against. He looks like he can play across the whole of the front three. Celtic obviously lowballed his team with a £1.7 million offer today. I think they're looking for 2.5 million.
Yeah.
Not much to ask. Did you manage to get a wee look at Paddy? What was your thoughts on the boy?
I did, Scott, and you know what? The game that actually stood out was a game against Newcastle. When I watched it last season, the guy was absolutely sensational, and I remember thinking, "Who is this guy? We need to look at this guy." You know, if you can envisage Jamie Vardy at 22, 23 years of age, that's what this guy reminds me of. Pace to burn. What a finisher. Left or right foot. Really, really comfortable. And I mean, what a record, Scott. You know, you're talking up there with the best players in the world there. 50% record of goal scoring in the Champions League. You know, I think this guy will be a steal at 2.5 million. And I don't for the life of me understand why Celtic are fanning about with 1.6 million, 1.7 million. Just get in there, get the money paid. That they're not asking you for 5 million more than the guy's worth. It's only a few extra grand. Get the money paid and get the guy in. We've needed a striker since Hugo left, a year past in January. It's just ridiculous that we haven't gone out. And if Martin O'Neill has identified this guy and the scouting team have identified this guy, let's get out and get the deal done and get him in. Get him into the squad, get him back in training. And let's let him get to know his new surroundings, meet his new teammates, and be ready for this qualifier when it comes at the when it comes at the end of the month. Because we weren't ready last year, Scott. We need to learn the lessons of last year. We simply weren't ready, and it cost us. What did it cost us? Probably 50 million last year. So we need to start and get this deal done. As I say, if that's all the money they're talking about, I don't understand why Celtic just can't go in and get the deal done. But I know they're looking at a goalkeeper as well. They've been talking about another goalkeeper from Croatia. So it's time the wheels started to move. The players are already back. The guys that are still at the World Cup will get another wee break. But we need to start moving because we've lost quite a few guys who were in the squad. Maybe not starters or whatever, but we've lost quite a few bodies there. So we need to start bulking the squad up. And again, as we said last week, you could still be looking at losing a few players. The one thing that scares me now, as Stephen mentioned earlier, you could have Brendan Rodgers and Ange Postecoglou both battling it out for Callum McGregor. Both managers that Callum has huge respect for. Both managers where he played superbly under, won trophies under. So I just hope that we don't have that problem. But I think the likes of Rio Hatate is already away. He's in his mind. He's already gone. But we could be looking at Maida. We could be looking at Engels. We could be looking at Negrin, possibly Alistair Johnson, even Austin Trusty. Who knows if these guys go deep in the World Cup? So we need to start getting deals done, Scott. And this guy would be ideal to start with. I think this is one that would at least give the fans a bit of hope and at least see that we are serious and we mean business.
Yeah, I think it was Smell of the Glove in the chat. Stephen said that 4 weeks tonight the season starts.
Yeah.
We've also got our first game on Tuesday, I believe it is, over Paddy's neck of woods. So time is clicking on, as we've said. Did you manage to get a quick look at this lad today, mate?
I did. I'm watching the group chat, and what I wrote down. By the way, I know when you search up players that saw their best bits, you've got to. He did have some howlers in this clip, and obviously just all his best bits. You know what I mean? But what I wrote down. He was very direct, fast, and he always great first touch as well. And he did, and a good shot as well. Quite direct good first touch, direct. Wanted to take a player on or have a shot. Look, it's getting them in, Scott. I don't want to get my hopes up. Do you know what I mean? I look at these, and you see it every year. They look good. We're like, oh, good man. It looks like a player we can get them, and then we just don't. But if these reports are out, for a couple of $100,000. I wouldn't surprise us, but I'm telling you, we need to get them in. We need to start getting players in, because, as you say, we've got this qualifier. We need to win this qualifier. Get them in, get them training. I want more than a striker in, but let's them start getting them in. We need to. We can't, as Paddy says last year, learn from last year's mistakes. We went out to that Matty Carrot or Matty, whatever it is, because we weren't prepared. They were holding off to see if we would qualify before they would spend any money on players. And they can't do this again. Surely to God they can't do the exact same thing the very next season.
Yeah.
But it's the Celtic board. It wouldn't surprise me if that's what they do.
Exactly, mate. As the Celtic way, lowballing as ever, very difficult to deal with as ever. But hopefully Camilo Duran will get that over the line with this boy. He certainly looks the tits anyway for what I've seen on YouTube today. So, players we need to get in, ladies and gentlemen. We have spoke about it. I've managed to get this graphic for the lads to go over. So we're now going to go through the squad. What do we need? We've done it a few weeks ago, but obviously a few players have left since then. Louis Palmer's away, Inamura, probably fringe players anyway. But as Paddy said, and as Stephen said as well, you know, we've lost a lot of players, a lot of players. Iniacho, you know, all these guys, the Ox, you know, all these guys that we had on loan as well. I think it was 7-8 players that we lost there as well. So we'll just go through it, Paddy, bit by bit. So we'll start off with the goalkeepers. It's obvious we need another goalkeeper. What are you thinking, mate? Sinisalo, are you going to stick with him, or do you think we should be bringing in somebody to be our number one again?
Well, I think at the very least, Scott, we need to bring somebody in that will give him a bit of competition. We definitely need somebody to give him a bit of competition. Ross Doohan's a young keeper and stuff, and he's been around, but I don't know that Ross Doohan will ever be anything other than just the guy on the bench or the backup keeper in case of an emergency or stuff like that. So we need to have two top class goalkeepers. We've always had it. You know, over the last couple of years, we had Hart and Schmeichel, then we had Schmeichel and Sinisalo. We've always had those two top class goalkeepers, and we need to get back there. This Croatian goalkeeper that we're being linked with, comparisons being drawn with him and Fraser Foster. So, I mean, if we can get somebody like that in, but it's absolutely paramount. If you're going to start at the top of the pitch and at the bottom of the pitch, we need a striker and we need a goalkeeper, and that's before anything else happens. If we don't lose another single player or we bring in another 5 players, we still need a goalkeeper and we still need a striker. So a goalkeeper for me has to be priority.
Yeah, Stephen, it's obvious we do need a goalkeeper, but are you sticking with Sinisalo, or would you like to see somebody come in and rip the jersey away from him?
I'm sure I said this. If it wasn't last week's podcast, it was the podcast before. Sinisalo would learn for Joe Hart, now under Joe Hart. And he's came on and then he was playing under Schmeichel and learning. He was learning for 2 great goalkeepers. You know what? He came in and he done a job. He done a job when Schmeichel got injured. He did, and he had a couple of howlers. Keeper will make howlers, but I would want to get a number one in and get him to just learn, because he's young. Just get him to learn and progress a wee bit more. And even for the competitive, just to have some competition to keep him on his toes as well. I think we do need a keeper in. I do think a number one. So I do think we need a number one. And that's nothing against Sinisalo. I think he is a good goalkeeper. I just don't think he is ready to be your number one goalkeeper just now. I think get another experience and get another 2 seasons or something, and then hopefully he'll be ready.
Yeah, I'm used to, guys. I would certainly like a permanent number one in. I don't think Sinisalo is the man for the job. So let's move on to the right backs then, Paddy. Very strong in that position. We're number one, obviously, Alistair Johnson. The 2 boys below him are obviously backups. I don't think they're ever going to be the number one at Celtic. But do you see Alistair Johnson hanging around?
I don't see any reason why not, Scott. He's had a fantastic World Cup, and he will probably garner some interest now. I'll be surprised if he doesn't, because that's what happens in the World Cup. But as far as I know, he's happy in Glasgow. He's happy playing for Celtic. again, if we can get through this qualifier, we could probably look at, Alistair Johnson certainly being happy enough to stay at least another couple of seasons and play at the very top league again in the Champions League. Just exactly as some of the viewers are saying there, I would like to see maybe Araujo being brought back. He was a fantastic signing for us, which would allow for me for Colby Donovan maybe to go and get a bit of game time somewhere else. I think Colby Donovan's at that stage in his career now where, it's not really fair to him to have him sitting about on the bench as being a backup and stuff. The wee guy needs to get games and needs to get a bit more of experience, and there's no reason why we couldn't utilize some of the, the ex-Celtic managers that are here and there and loan them out to some of them to, Mark Wilson over at Partick Thistle there, take them on season, even a half-season loan, just to give them a few games as well. But we said it before, if we start the season with those three, Alistair Johnson still there, on the backup of Colby Donovan and Anthony Ralston, I will be happy enough with that squad. It's certainly not a weakness in my opinion.
Yeah, Alistair Johnson, potential next captain as well, Stephen. If Calmac does go to Saudi Arabia, maybe that's a carrot that could get dangled for him as well.
He did captain us a couple of times when Calmac was injured, didn't he? He's definitely. I really like Alistair Johnson. I really do. And if we can keep him, like Paddy says, we're all right. I wouldn't say our right back's one of our weaknesses right now. For the size of our squad and the positions we've got players in, I'm quite confident to start the season the way it is. I just hope he comes back. I think he's already gathered interest, but I just hope he comes back and he's still a player and has another good year with us. Not too scared about the right back position.
Aye, hopefully Alistair Johnson does hang around, and we're very strong. I think he would get the captain's armband between him and Tierney if Calmac did go. So let's switch over then, Paddy, to that left-hand side.
Yep.
We do have Kieran Montgomery, that was a good mix, wasn't it? Kieran Tierney and Adam Montgomery. Sirachi is a name that keeps getting bandied about. He's probably another guy that we should already have in the door. Again, I don't know why we're fucking about with this boy. Get him in the door. It's definitely a position that we need to strengthen as well, mate.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with you, Scott. I can't understand why the deal hasn't been done. The guy wants to come. He's Clover prepared to sell. It should be an absolute no-brainer, and he should already be in the door. And if we had Kieran Tierney and Marcelo Sirachi as our two left backs, even with Adam Montgomery as a backup there, that will be just perfect for next season. And listen, but if it's not going to be Sirachi, it'll have to be somebody else. I know there have been a few people talked about getting Greg Taylor back as well, but the reason Greg Taylor left was he didn't want to play second fiddle to Kieran Tierney. So I don't know how that would work. But as I say, we need to move on Sirachi. Again, we're not talking about a huge amount of money here. We're probably talking about £1.5 million, £2 million to get him on a 3 or 4 year contract. The guy's keen to come. They're keen to sell. And it should be an absolute no-brainer. Because as I say, if we don't get Marcelo Sirachi, we're going to have to go and look for someone else.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting, Stephen, that we've not got Sirachi in the door. Again, it's not a massive amount of money, as Paddy said. Definitely the left-back position is a position that we need to strengthen.
100%, because I was surprised how many games Kieran Tierney got out of us last season. I really was. He played way more than I was expecting. If he gets injured, or because who have we got? We've got just Montgomery. That's all we've got. Now, with this, my view on this Sirachi thing, right? Us three guys here, probably all the viewers down there in the comments, we can all see that Sirachi, he's been in the door. He's played for us. He's a cracking player. If we can all see it, we know we need a boy in that position. Why? What is the club doing about it? Do you know what I mean? It's so obvious that we need it. They're not risking any of the club's money. He's been in with us for a season. We know what we're getting with him, and it's not as if it's crazy millions. It's a fair price for what we're going to get. It's tried and tested. This is what's really fucking getting on my goat. It's so obvious we need him. He wants to play. He enjoyed himself over here. Martin O'Neill loves him. He's not a lot of money. Why has this not been done already? why are we still speculating about it? Why are we still new? 4 weeks to the start of the season, why are we still, we should get him, we should get him, we should get him? I just don't know why it's not been done with now. I really don't. And we're getting nothing out the club. They're not coming out and giving us nothing. They've not given us nothing all summer. It's frustrating as hell. It really is. But Sriracha, they're not going to break the bank. Get him in as well. I was ready to go off on a rant there. But I know definitely a player. I would love to see him. I definitely would love to see him, and we need him. We need a left back really, really bad, because I don't think we'll get another full season like that with Kieran Tierney, and then we're going to be dabbling into the young boys for cover and all that. So I'm more panicked about a left back than a right back, that's for sure.
Aye, 4 million in already for Palma and Amura, and we could have had these two boys in the door already. Your Sriracha and the boy we spoke about earlier, the striker. It's absolutely ridiculous. So Paddy, let's move on to the left-hand sided centre backs here. We've got Liam Scales and Austin Trusty. Happy with that side of the central defence?
I am, Scott, and big Liam Scales takes an awful lot of stick, and I just sometimes don't understand that. I can't understand why the big man gets some stick, because last season he was kind of the glue that held us together at the back.
Yeah.
He's like any other defender, Scott. Name me a defender that doesn't have a mistake in him here and there. And Scales is in exactly that same category. But at the same time, I would still like to see us signing. I would like to see us signing somebody else with a bit more physicality than anybody we have. The only one that we have with any real physicality is Cameron Carter-Vickers. And again, as Stephen said, similar to Kieran Tierney, there's still question marks over Cameron Carter-Vickers. Is he going to be able to play a full season? Will he get a knock and be gone for 3 months like it has been before? Obviously, if he comes back fit and fully available, he will still be our best defender. But I would just like to see us bringing in somebody with a bit more physicality there. Scales and Trusty for me are too similar. I think we need somebody who really does attack the ball, and somebody who actually bullies the number 9 or the striker and really lets them know that he's in a game there. So I would like to see us signing somebody else there to come in and give them a bit of competition. Again, we still don't know. We're still in that realms of possibility that somebody could come in for Austin Trusty because he's played really well in this World Cup. So I guess we'll have to keep an eye on that there. But centre defence is definitely one I would like to see us bringing in another body there. Even if you look across the whole thing, Scott, like those 4 players, Trusty, Scales, Carter-Vickers, and Mike Nawrocki. If Mike Nawrocki comes back and is can show us what he did in the games that he did play, and then he was allowed to go out and loan, that would give us 4 solid centre halves. But I just would like to see us bringing in that big bruising centre half, like a Bobo Baldi, like a Josh Valharan, like a Johan Mjalby. Something that the other guys can play around, and let this guy do the bullying and let him look after the centre forward and let the other guys play. So I would definitely like to see us making a signing in that area.
Yeah, it's a very difficult position to replace as well, Stephen, the left centre back. They've had to come by. Austin Trusty's obviously had a decent World Cup, so there will be eyes on him. If he doesn't leave and he stays, would you be comfortable with those 2 players, Liam Scales and Austin Trusty?
I like him. I do like both of them. Again, sometimes they can be blow hot and cold, but I like them. I'm not going to say that. I'm happy. I'm happy with all defenders. And if that Nawrocki comes back and wants to play for us, and Martin O'Neill sees something, we've got enough. But we don't know what we're going to get with Carter-Vickers as well with the injuries. But so I wouldn't mind, as Paddy was saying, another one just to come in and just to get the numbers up and get sturdy and get a good team, get a good base, get a good defence this year. I'm happy with Austin Trusty and Liam Scales on the left-hand side.
Aye, and he's covered the other 2 boys as well quite well. I agree with you. I think we certainly need at least one more body in there with Mike Nawrocki back as well. Let's move on to the midfield then, lads. We'll start off with the sort of defensive midfielders. There's quite a few there, as we can see. Callum McGregor could be on his way to Saudi Arabia with the 2 ex-Celtic managers there now probably fighting over him. Paulo Bernardo looks like he's done at Celtic. Arnie Engels, we've set the price at 26 million. I think that'll be easy enough for any team in England to come in for him. Rio Hatate looks gone as well, and Luke McCowan will probably stay around with the Scottish contingent that we need. So, Paddy, we're actually looking very, very light there if we manage to lose 4 of those guys, as expected in the summer.
Yeah. Well, you've just said that, Scott. It wouldn't be a massive surprise, really, if we lose 4 out of those 5 players on the screen there. I did see recently that Paulo Bernardo had been putting in quite a lot of work abroad on his fitness. Still quite not quite sure what happened to him over the last year or so. We thought last season would be the one that he'll step in and make this place his own now, but for whatever reason, and that was both under Brendan Rodgers, Wilfred Nancy, and also Martin O'Neill both times. None of them seemed to fancy him in terms of he never really got an opportunity to stake a claim there. So again, this is going to be one, Scott, where probably, as Stephen said earlier, we're going to have to probably wait and see what we're actually left with here, because obviously if those 5 on the screen are all still there, obviously you'd be happy enough to with that, but I can't in all honesty see. I think there's a real chance that Arnie Engels will go this summer. I think the fact that Celtic have said that 26 million is what they want for him. They've made that clear, so I think the price is out there. And as you say, if some of the German teams or some of the teams in England come in, that's petty change to them, guys. I think Rio Hatate will be the one who will definitely go. I don't see any way back for Rio Hatate. I think he's made it clear in interviews since the season ended that he sees his future elsewhere. Again, on his day, he's probably one of the best midfielders in the country, if not the best midfielder in the country when he's on it. But more often than not, we haven't seen it from him. And he's looked a really unhappy, moody player over the last while. So we haven't really seen the true Rio Hatate for quite some time. So I think he's one that will go. Luke McCowan, again, for me, Scott, is another one who, I don't like to say the guy's not good enough because he never lets us down, but I don't think Luke McCowan is at that level at the moment where you could hang your hat on him and say that he's going to be one of the main men. I just don't think he's at that level yet. He probably needs another season and a few more games and a bit more experience. So I think this one was one that we'll just have to keep an eye on. Martin will be obviously watching ever closer to see what happens, but if we were to lose 3 or 4 of those players, and I think there's a fair chance we might lose at least 2 of them, in Engels and Hatate, we're going to be really up against it there. You're going to have to get players in there. So I guess it'll be a bit of a waiting game in the defensive midfielders, but there are 1 or 2 players, we've talked about them. There's a couple of the guys at Motherwell there that we could be looking at that would slot in there and immediately take the place of some of those guys. There's a guy at Hibs as well, a guy Chaiwa at Hibs. There's 1 or 2 options there that are not far away. We don't have to go too far looking for them. So I think this is one that we'll have to probably wait and see what way the summer pans out. But again, if we are following any kind of strategy, that that's what we need to be doing. We need to be looking at potential replacements if these guys go. We need to be prepared for all eventualities. Obviously, my hope is that we don't lose Engels and we don't lose McGregor. I think we will lose Hatate, but we'll see how we go from there. But again, I would like to see another midfield player coming in because I say I just don't think Luke McCowan is at that level where he would be a first-team starter. Paulo Bernardo is a great unknown in the whole thing. Maybe this season will be Bernardo's season under Martin O'Neill. Who's to know? He's a fantastic player. He's got an excellent pedigree. He came through the Benfica system, so there's no way that this guy is a poor player. This guy has all the attributes. It just hasn't happened for him. So I think the midfield will be waiting to see what happens, Scott.
Yeah, Stephen, Paddy mentioned it there. We've been linked with Elliot Just at Motherwell, who has had an unbelievable World Cup, and maybe we should have got that deal done before the World Cup. He's going to cost a few shekels more now. Obviously, Chaiwa at Hibs as well. Just looking at that, I think we can say goodbye to Engels, Hatate and Bernardo for sure. If we're to lose Callum McGregor as well, mate, it would be unbelievable. It would be a completely brand new defensive midfield we'd have to get in, which is pretty unbelievable and frightening as well at the same time.
I know. We've seen this coming. We've seen it coming when we first kind of done this, when we were talking about a squad. It's just, I just don't even want to think about it. But realistically, we're going to have to think about it, and the club's going to have to think about it. When we got up Paulo Bernardo on loan, and he played brilliant. And I can remember being happy when we signed him on a permanent, and then we've just not played him. I don't know what's happened. I don't know. He's a cracking wee player, but again, Scott, we're just going to have to wait and see. It's actually quite frightening. But if the players do go, we'll have nothing in the middle of the park. Nothing.
I think what I'm going to do is, lads, I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep it, and we'll have a look at it at the end of the transfer window. I think that's going to be a good idea.
Yeah.
And we'll just compare as to who has actually went and who's stayed. Sapadi, just looking in front of those guys.
Yep.
Nigrin's had quite a poor World Cup. I think we all expected him to have a cracker. Yep. And Balikwisha, I think we can certainly say that he will definitely be on his way. It looks like 6 million wasted for Bernardo. It looks like 5 million wasted for that boy as well.
Yeah.
Balikwisha away and just a replacement in there for him, you think?
I get the one that puzzles me is Nigrin. Somebody asked him yesterday, about did he think he would still be with Celtic? And he said we'll have to wait and see. Well, I'm sorry, but the guy's under contract. The guy will go nowhere until Celtic can say he can go. And any chance that he had of enhancing his reputation in the World Cup went down the tube because he was very, very poor in the whole tournament. That being said, so were Sweden. They were very, very disappointing. Definitely underachieved from the qualifying and from what was expected with the Swedish media. They were expected to do very, very well. Sweden were talked about as one of the teams who were expected to cruise through to at least the quarterfinals, possibly even the semi-finals. So they didn't perform, and Nigrin was just a part of that as well. Balikwisha is a strange one, Scott. Again, I've saw pictures of him, out training in the Celtic gear and really, really training hard. And I don't know. I can't answer. He's an enigma to me. I don't understand what happened to this guy. This was a guy that we chased for 2 years, and we eventually paid 5 million for him. And in the cameo appearances he's made for us so far, he just looked so far off the pace. But to be fair to the guy, when you're not playing regularly and you're only getting a minute or two here and a minute or two there, it's very, very difficult to impress. So again, he's a great unknown. Similar to Nawrocki, maybe if he comes back with a full pre-season and under Martin O'Neill with a bit of stability in the squad and stability in the team, maybe he could be an option, Scott. I don't know. As I say, the one thing I do know is that we chased him for 2 years, so there has to be something somewhere. Somebody somewhere had seen something in him. So, but again, with Nigrin, is Nigrin angling for a move? And does he think he might be getting a move to the Premiership? I saw that he was being linked with teams like Manchester United and stuff like that. But again, I don't think Benjamin Nigrin's just at that level just yet. Fantastic player for us last year in terms of the goals that he scored. But we said it on this podcast many, many times. Anytime that I see Benjamin Nigrin playing, I come away thinking that guy can give us more. There's another 25% that we can get out of him. So again, that's another one that we'll have to look at. Again, if Balikwisha is not going to be an option, we're going to need to have to bring somebody in that position, Scott. And again, the young guy Elijah Just from Motherwell could be an option for alongside Nigrin there in that sort of number 10 role. So we'll need to take a look at that one there. But again, we'll need to wait and see exactly what kind of a pre-season both these lads have.
Yeah, Elijah Just is a must for me, man. He's what a player he is. He'd be a cracking addition to our team. So Stephen, Balikwisha is pretty much like Louis Palmer. Just in Tanecki really just flattered to deceive any time they've been given an opportunity. And Nigrin as well, shouting his mouth off that he doesn't know if he's going to be there and all that carry on. Maybe thinks he's a wee bit better than what he actually is.
Well, I was just about to. I'll start off with Nigrin. Maybe Nigrin has been listening to too much his own hype, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's been hearing, these are talking about me. I'm going there. I'm going to be this big thing. I'm going to do this, and he's been listening to his own hype. And see for him to come out and say we'll need to wait and see. That tells you it probably doesn't want to even be here. Then, to me, that's a commitment. Because see if the way I would think it, if I was in his shoes, even if I did want to go away, if I did want to manufacture a move at the club, if somebody's going to ask you, you're going to, no, I'm loyal, I can't wait to go back and get mucked in, start the new season, just for mine. But if he's coming saying he doesn't, we'll need to wait and see, well then maybe that's maybe it's time to start planning his exit. And I don't know, that Balakisha as well, Paddy. I don't know if I've maybe seen the same videos and the kind of reports on you that he's been knuckling down this pre-season. He's been trying really hard. I did read an article on him, and I think he said he's determined to fight for his place.
Yeah.
Now, that's the mentality you want out your players.
Yeah, that's what you want to hear.
One guy, you're going to the World Cup, listen to all this hype that he's probably better than what he is, or there's people watching me, and his mind's went away. But then you've got another man that's kind of been frozen out of favour, not being played, came with pedigree, and he's like, you know what? I'm here. I'm going to make sure these guys know what the kind of player I am.
Yeah.
Two different mentalities. And to be honest, I'm more impressed with Balakisha, him. I'm more impressed with his mentality than some hotshot out in America saying, "I will wait and see what happens when I go back."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I'll no slag off any player that pulls on that top. But if I've got a guy here that's with Balakisha that's been frozen out of favour, but he's like, no, you know what? I'm going to roll my sleeves up here. I'm going to show these guys. I'm going to show my teammates, the manager, what kind of player I am. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see.
Aye, their Lorna's bang on. It's disrespectful from me, and you know you've called that as well, and I'm sure everybody else thinks that. And Balakisha has got the right attitude. Let's just hope he manages to come out to be that player that our scouting department thought he was. So let's move over to the right wing then, Paddy. Your man Yang had pretty decent season, to be fair. He started to show that there was a player in there somewhere. We know what we're getting with James Forrest. But would you like to see a wee bit more cover over there?
I think we absolutely need to, Scott. When you see the graphic there, you can see the gaps. James Forrest has been sensational for us. One of the best servants the club has ever had. Like 17, 18 seasons, and has scored a goal in every one of those seasons. Just a fantastic servant. But even Jamesy will admit that every year that comes at this stage, it's going to get tougher for him. It really is, because of his age, and that's no reflection on James Forrest as a player. That's just simply stating the obvious. Similar with Callum McGregor, these guys can't go on forever. You get to a point where your legs actually start telling your brain that you're not as fit as you once were. So I think James Forrest is going to be used sparingly again this season. Jamesy won't be a starter too many times. He'll be an impact player coming off the bench, or in certain games he might start and maybe, but he won't finish the game. So we need to be careful how we use Jamesy. Yang was fantastic for me this season. I really enjoyed watching him develop. From a guy that this time last year we were thinking, you know what, we could maybe let him go. If you remember the stick that he got after the cup final against Aberdeen, and to come back and show that character and show that level of performance. So there's still a bit to go with Yang. There's more to come from. There's more development there, but there's definitely a player in there. But I would like to see us bringing in another right-sided winger there, just so they can push Yang and they can push Jamesy, for that. And even just bring another right winger in there so that we could use Jamesy that bit more sparingly as well. So definitely we need to be on the lookout for something on the right-hand side as well, because as one of the viewers pointed out earlier, in the same way with the defenders and the right backs and the left backs, you need somebody pushing you. You always need somebody pushing you. The worst thing that can happen for any player in any position is that he gets comfortable in the position knowing that there's nobody really to take his place. That leads to complacency. It leads to poor performances. The best teams always have people ready to step into the position so that that when you're going out, you must produce. Because if I don't produce today, he's sitting waiting on the bench to take my slot. And that's exactly what we need over there on the right-hand side. We need somebody to come in and give Yang a run for his money there and allow us to use Jamesy a bit more sparingly.
A guy that Alistair Johnson used to have a fantastic relationship with, Paddy, is Nicholas Kuhn.
Yeah.
He might be available. Would you take him back?
Absolutely. Take him back in a heartbeat. Quality player, Scott. I know it didn't end too well for him in terms of, he seemed to be a bit moody and stuff like that there, but, there's no doubting that Kuhn's quality. The guy took us to another level down the right-hand side, especially when he linked up with Alistair Johnson. We were as good as anything in the Champions League that year. We were as good as any team. That partnership was as good as any right-sided partnership, and I include even the top teams in that. Kuhn and Alistair Johnson were sensational. And not only the goals that Kuhn scored, but the goals that he laid on for other people. his link-up play with Engels and stuff, it was the stuff of dreams. I was very disappointed that we lost Nicholas Kuhn because he is a quality player, but obviously his head was turned by money and the chance to go and live in Italy and stuff like that there. But if Nicholas Kuhn was available, I would take him back in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Stephen, it's a good shout. It just came to me there when I had a wee look at Alistair Johnson. I was thinking, who was that guy that he had a great relationship with? It's not really worked out for him at Como. He could be available. Is Nicholas Kuhn a guy you'd like to see back? Do you think we need to strengthen on that right-hand side, or are you happy with the two boys we've got?
No, we definitely need to strengthen. Sorry. James Forrest, love him to bits. As Paddy said, probably the best ever servant that we've got, with all the trophies and accolades he's got for his full career. But he's just the legs will go. You've heard many players saying their head still wants to play. It's just that their body's gear, and unfortunately for a winger, you need the legs. I'm sorry. So I'm not saying that he'll not be able to come in and help the team out, and he'll be able to play, but I don't think we'll be able to count on him for a full season and not a backup to Yang. So I will definitely need somebody in. Nicholas Kuhn's a great shout. Remember I went to the Champions League, at Park Heath when he cut in. Was it German? What was the German side? Was it Leipzig or something we had?
Yeah, it was Leipzig, yeah.
And when he cut in and scored that goal and the link up with Johnson on the right, brilliant player. The two of them were great. I thought he was a fantastic player. It took a wee bit of a while for him to settle in, if I can remember right, but when he did, he was great. I would take him back in a heartbeat. I would, you know what, if we could get him in, that would sort that whole right hand side up with one signing or a player of his ilk. Yeah. That would set us up for the full right hand side, no bother.
Yeah. So hopefully, Martin, you're watching and get wee Nicholas Kuhn back in that team. So let's move over to the left hand side, Paddy. We know that Jota is out until at least October. If he ever does come back, it's going to be some effort for the boy to even get back fit, I would imagine. And Sebastian Tanuki, I think we all know what we think about that guy. So certainly it's a position for sure that we're going to have to strengthen, because we don't know if Jota's even going to come back, mate.
No, it's not good, Scott. It doesn't look good. And when you think of how long he's out, he's now out over a year. The injury happened at Tannadice on the day that we won the league. Not last season, the season before. So he's missed an entire season. He's going to miss pre-season. Martin has already said that it looks as though it could be early next year. That's a massive length of time for anybody to be out, and he's missing pre-season and stuff like that, So again, stories going around that, maybe Celtic are putting a brave face on it and maybe the guy is finished. I just think it's going to be very, very difficult for him. He's not a young player anymore. He's getting older. That's always makes it more difficult to come back from a serious injury like that. So again, it's one of those ones, Scott, where we can't count on this at all. We can't put any kind of emphasis or plan in it. We just need to write Jota off in the meantime. We just need to write him off completely to see what happens with his recovery. He's not an option. I don't think he's going to be an option in 2026. Maybe in 2027, yeah. But for this first half of the season, for the Champions League qualifier, for the first half of the season and the Champions League games, we're going to need to bring somebody else in. Tanetti, for me, is another one. I mean, it's just a pity we didn't have Jerry on the show tonight. Jerry still maintains, that we cannot play Tanetti, Negrin and Yang in the same team. We're like a man short when that happens. And that's been borne out. Now, Tanetti didn't get much time at the World Cup. He only got a few minutes here and there. He's come in, he's shown a wee flash here, there, and a wee flash, that he's capable of doing things. But again, Tanetti needs to produce more consistently and more regularly than he's doing at the moment. I wouldn't even see Tanetti as an option to be your first choice left winger. Not in my view. Looking at that graphic, absolutely, he's your only choice because he's the only competition he has is Jota. But I would like to see us bringing in another player there. The other option, as I say, obviously we'll have to wait and see. But I still maintain that Dyson Maeda is a better option on the left wing than Tanetti is. If I was picking the team tomorrow and that was my options, I would have Dyson Maeda on the left wing. I would have Yang on the right-hand side and I'd have Tanetti on the bench. and that still gives you that flexibility that you can put Dyson through the middle. But Dyson is still more of an impact player on the left than Tanecki has been. So we need to see more. This is going to be a massive season for Tanecki. This is make or break for him. This is the season he has to prove himself. If he doesn't step up in this part, the early part of the season, the first half of this season, I think you can forget about him, because we paid big money for him, and it looks at the minute as though it hasn't worked out. So again, he's a player that we need to see a lot more from. But in order to see the best of him again, I think we need to get somebody in there to push him. If you had somebody in there challenging him for that place, and he knew that the guy in the possession of the jersey was whoever that player happened to be, I'm going to have to go some to get the jersey back there. That's what we need. We need somebody to push the neck, and we need somebody to challenge him for that position. So definitely need to bring somebody in on the left as well.
Yeah. I think a 74-year-old Martin O'Neill's a better option than Tanecki for me as well.
The guy Maswanisi, the wee guy Maswanisi at Motherwell out on the left side there, played a lot on the left for Motherwell. Again, there's another guy who, in my opinion, would immediately make you better. It would immediately make us better than Tanecki. So just throwing that out there.
Braga at Hearts as well. There's another one that we maybe should be looking at. So yeah. Stephen, I think it's obvious. Jota's going to be out till October, Christmas time at least, or next year, as Paddy suggested. Tanecki for me is definitely not a number one left midfielder, either left winger, whatever way you want to look at it. Definitely a position, mate, we certainly need to strengthen as well this summer.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to echo what we've said before in previous podcasts. When Jota comes back, with injuries that he's got, he might not come back the player that he was before it. Matter of fact, the chances, because he twists and turns, he might not be able to move, and it might. So I think we unfortunately have to write him off as a player, and then if he comes back fit, count it as a bonus.
Yeah.
Tanecki's no number one. See, when he first came in, I think his first couple of games, he's dead exciting. He wants to take players on, but he got found out really quickly. So he's definitely not a first choice. Well, he's unfortunately is our only choice now. But I can't see him. I don't think he should be a first choice. And that would also back our wee chat up further on. If we could get Sirachi in, I would rather have Sirachi in the left wing than Tanecki.
Yeah.
It gives us an option. That Sirachi, I'm telling you, if he ticks a lot of boxes, and it would tick a left wing box for me and all.
Yeah.
I would play him on the left wing.
A good shout.
So that's another position we need to fill really quickly as well. But we're talking about all these players bringing in guys, right? Say we need. We do get a player for all these positions. We're going to have to get time for them to all get to know each other, play with each other, train with each other, and all these. This Champions League qualifiers is the end of this month, isn't it? It's not looking good for us. We're talking about the players we need in, but we also need the time to bed them in and play them and get to know their surroundings, get them set up and their private lives and hussies or so. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, on the left wing, we need to write Jota off. If he comes back fit and he's a good player, then it's a bonus. So I think Tanecki's got that position for the default, and that's the way it is. Just because we've got literally nobody else that can play there or even push him.
Yeah.
Bang on, mate. Absolutely bang on. I would certainly have Sirachi in place of Tanecki. But just going on to your point there as well, Stephen, about players knowing their surroundings and that, it makes it even more ridiculous that we've not got Sirachi in, because he knows, what he's come to do, and he knows everything.
We've had him in. He knows his way about the building, he knows his way about the training facilities, he knows his way about. We've had him in. He's a good player. I just don't understand why we've not done it. I really don't, because I'm sure he said that he was keen on a move. His club are definitely keen to sell him. He's not going to cost a lot of money. It makes sense. But they've not done it, so I don't know what's going on behind the doors.
Aye, let's see. It's looking at this, Paddy, it just looks like such a massive rebuild. I didn't think it was as bad as what it actually is, but looking at it, it's actually ridiculous looking. And probably the biggest position that we all know that we need to strengthen is that one up front. I think, to be honest with you, looking at it, I think the only person that we can safely say is going to be here is probably Callum Osmond. I think the other three guys will probably be for the high jump.
Yeah. Tyson Maida's the only one, Scott. Again, there's been conflicting stories coming out of Japan about him, saying that he may stay with Celtic. But I just don't know. Again, I'd be more concerned now, even more concerned than I was now that Big Ange has gone to Saudi. Like Tyson Maida has followed Ange wherever he has been. And what a player. I mean, everybody at that World Cup has been raving about him. They're saying, they're seeing the things that we've been seeing for the best part of 2 or 3 years. He's a closing down machine. His energy levels, the way he just keeps going. And I think that has stood out like a sore thumb at the World Cup. So I will be very surprised if Tyson Maida doesn't have a load of big offers from all over the world, all over Europe. He's a sensational player. I know Andy, who was on the podcast before, we said it before. Where would we go? Where do you go to replace a player like Tyson Maida? I don't see one anywhere else in the world. That's how good he is. I honestly don't see another. There's nobody that I could compare Tyson Maida to in world football. There's just simply nobody. He is a 1 in a million, and I do think it will be an absolute miracle if we manage to hold on to him. Scott, the other two guys, in my opinion, they're just not good enough. It's as simple as that. Johnny Kenny was given his opportunity, both under Brendan Rodgers and under Wilfred Nancy, and as well as Martin O'Neill, and didn't take it. The guy just isn't good enough. It's as simple as that. Shin Yamada, again, he didn't really get much game time under any of the managers, but to be fair, anytime we've seen the guy, he looks like a player that won a raffle to get a game for Celtic. That's my honest opinion of the guy. There was talk at the time that he was going to be the next Kyogo. Well, I'm sorry, but from the very first day that Kyogo pulled the Celtic shirt on, you could see the kind of quality of a player that he was. And this guy just seems so far off it, it's scary. So, as you say, if Dyson's not going to go, or if Dyson's not going to stay, not only do we lose him as a striker, but we lose that flexibility of also having him on the left-hand side as well, which will impact what we need to do out there. So really and truly, as you say, Scott, you're looking at Callum Osmond as probably being the only one there who offers you any real alternative in the striking department. So, again, we had the opportunity to bring back Ian Atchell. We didn't do that either. We let his contract run down. Again, the guy turned our season around, in my opinion, in both the league and the cup. We wouldn't have done what we've done had it not been for Ian Atchell. I still think that should have been a no-brainer to bring him back. I would have loved to have seen Ian Atchell with a full pre-season under his belt, just to see if it did make a difference for him. I still think he's one of these guys who may never get to the level of fitness that's required to play 90 minutes. But the guy was absolutely an impact player for us. When you think of the penalty at Motherwell, the penalty at Kilmarnock, the late goals here at Easter Road, he was such an important player. But there's no question that this is the one for me that needs the most attention this summer. And if we can get this young guy in from Karabakh and another, I still think we need to bring in an or two. We need to bring in two strikers because we only play with one up front, and you can't expect one player to play 60 games next season. That's not going to happen. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be suspensions. So we're going to have to bring in a couple of strikers here. And again, we've talked about them. We've talked about Kieran Bowie. We've talked about him. Again, surface again this week. Used to play for Hibs. You've also got Maswanisi at Motherwell. There's one or two other guys there that we've been linked with as well. So this is one for me this is the one that will determine our season, because we just simply cannot rely on those guys. Callum Osmond looks to me again as though he has really real potential to be a superstar. He looks really, really good. But again, is it fair to put him under that amount of pressure at his age? I would like to see him coming in and playing alongside a more experienced striker, just so that he can learn from him and develop his game a wee bit more, because you can't put that amount of pressure on him. So this is one that we need to do. We need to do serious business on. If it costs us 10 million or 15 million to get in two top class strikers, so be it. That's what it has to be. But we need to be pushing the boat out in terms of what we do in terms of quality in that final third of the pitch.
Aye, Stephen, Paddy is bang on there. There's a player that's just waiting to be signed like Sarachi. Is Ian Atchell. 29-year-old, mate. He showed his quality when he was with us. A full pre-season under his belt, as Paddy said, and we're looking at a totally different player. Is he somebody we should be going out to get? And what are you making of the rest of the strikers that we do have at the club?
Right. Prepare to start. Shin Yamada had you know what, Paddy's just, he's had a nail right in the head with all of them. Shin Yamada didn't even look like a striker. Johnny Kenny had his chance and couldn't take it. He just couldn't take it. Daisy Maida, he's pretty much, I know he said he wants to come back and play, and he's looking forward to starting the new season and that. I don't think we can. I don't know him. I think he's away. But just leave Osmond. He's a young boy. He showed potential. He got a bad injury, but he came back and then he looks. But he's too young. He's too young to just be chucked up there for 60 games, 50, 60 games. You know what I mean? Without but we definitely need strengthened. We needed it last year as well, Scotty. We didn't get it. We needed it. We needed a striker last year. Kelechi Nacho, we had him in again on loan. We spoke about this last Friday. He just didn't get his fitness up to get a full game out of it. But when he came on, he was the best finisher in the club. He was getting his goals. He was late goals, cracking goals, like half chances. He was spinning the box and getting the ball in the back of the net. He was a natural finisher, the best striker we had. We've got him in on loan, not attached to a club. Why no sign him? That's what's most frustrating thing, Scotty. Well, that short in numbers, we've got somebody in the door. He's got so many points. He turned the cup semi-final against St Mirren. Because it was when they got that equaliser, we didn't know where we were going to get a goal for, and then he comes in, and James Forrest as well. He played brilliant in that semi-final. We had him in the door, and we've just let him fucking walk right out it. We've literally had him in. He's not attached, and we've let him just let his contract run out. I don't understand it. Maybe he was on too high a wages, but I'm sure I said last week. How much is a £5, £6, £7 million striker? Get that transfer thing, break that down, and pay him a decent wage.
Yeah.
It's just it's so frustrating. It really is frustrating. It's hard to think of words to describe it, but it's just frustration. We had him in the door and we've just let him walk out.
Yeah. No, well done, lads. That was a good diagnosis of what we need, and I think just by looking at it, it's more scarier than what we all thought. I think the only position there that's sort of nailed on for us is the right back position. I think every single other position in that team is certainly going to need work. We're looking at 10 signings, you know, just to get us there. And as we all know, we have made absolutely none. Absolutely disgusting. You know, with 4 weeks to go before the season kicks off. But this is what Celtic do, and we're waiting to the very last kick of the ball as ever to get people in the door. So we'll keep a hold of that, lads, and we'll have a look at it again at the end of the transfer window. So I've only got one segment for the lads tonight. We're hoping to have our Jerry's quiz, obviously, but he had to cancel with us last minute with the family round, and I know they'll all be round the TV watching us anyway. So, Jerry, you can still get involved, and this is what I've got for the lads.
Who's that player?
So, I've got 5 for the gentlemen this evening to go through. 5 players that have played for Celtic. Get involved in the comments as well. We start off pretty easy, I would say, and then hopefully get a wee bit harder towards the end. So first up for the gentleman this evening is this guy, Scottish internationalist, 17 caps, played for Stoke, Nottingham Forest, County, Celtic and Hibs. Make sure you've got the comments off there, gents, as well.
Yeah, comments
Right. Oh,
Stoke, Nottingham Forest. We signed him from Derby. Played for Celtic, Hibs, and he is a Scottish internationalist. Who have you got, Paddy?
I went for Chris Commons.
Chris Commons. Stephen?
Yeah, Chris Commons.
Chris Commons. Yeah, it certainly was Chris Commons. Nice, sort of easy one to start us off with. Try to throw you a wee bit there with the Scottish internationalist. Yeah, but what a signing he was. We got him from Derby County for, I think it was about 650 grand. We could certainly do with something like that as a new number 10. Smell the glove. Yeah, doesn't look like P. McLaughlin's in the chat tonight. So, yeah, you've managed to beat him. No, it wasn't. John Collins, Alison, Commons. Kev's brain's not working tonight. Well done, Orlando. Well done, John Shirley, and welcome back. We just noticed you've been away for a wee while there, so welcome back, John. It's good to have you. I can't wait to read the 45,000 comments later on the podcast. That'll be fun. Kev, Paddy does know, like he certainly does. Was it 300k? I thought it was. All right, okay, there we go.
Something like that. Yeah.
Who said John Collins? Sir Lorna's getting excited. Right, so we've got 4 left for the guys. Well done. So it's Paddy 1, Stephen 1. Next up is this guy. Polish internationalist, only 1 cap. Now, Stephen, I'm going to give you a wee clue. Look at the goals. So, unless it's Shin Yamada, he's definitely not a striker. Stephen struggling by the looks of things.
No, I'm just, cause remember I was only a young boy then.
I'll give you 3, 2, 1. Stephen, I'm going to have to come to you, my man. Who have you got?
I don't know. I couldn't. I've hit a blank.
Hit a blank. Paddy?
I've gone for Lucas Zaluska.
Lucas Zaluska. It certainly was. Lucas Zaluska. Well done, Paddy. That was a good one. So there, Paddy goes 2-1 up. Let's have a wee look. Let's have a wee look. Oh, plunge. I think Nadir Chiefty scored a wee bit more than 0 goals.
He didn't score many, but he scored more than that punch.
Do you know what? I don't think anybody in the chat has actually got it. Yeah.
Well, see, it's not just me.
Smell the glove for it was Chiefty as well. Well done, Paddy. So Paddy 2, Stephen 1, and nobody in the chat got it. Wow, quite shocked with that.
That's a first.
Yeah, okay. So next up for the lads is this guy. German internationalist. 21 caps. Played for Stuttgart, Sevilla, Celtic, and Freiburg. No many goals. 2 goals in his whole career as well. Might be a goalkeeper then.
Oh.
I know Stephen looks like he is struggling. He's got a mind blank, I think.
It happens. It happens, boys.
It does. It's mental, isn't it? So, Stephen, I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Paddy, got him out his misery.
Andre Cinco.
I went for Andre Cinco too, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Good shout, Stephen.
Did I get that in? I've not wrote it down.
Oh, you did, yeah. Yep.
I'm going to give you that, Stephen, because you got it right at the last second, just before Paddy.
I think all the fucking
good shout.
all the German defenders we had.
It was Andre Cinco. Great call there, lads. Great call. Well done, Paddy. Well done, Stephen. Let's have a wee look at the chat. So, Dariusz Dovcik, he was a Polish internationalist, David. He wasn't German, so very close. Yep, he was a right back. Hinkle. He was German. Yep. It was Hinkle. Well done, James.
Well done, James.
Well done, Michael. Let's have a look. Yeah, well done, Stephen. Fair Lorna. And the good lady as well.
I can hear her laughing in the living room.
She knows your ticks, you see, that's what it is. She knows all your little tell signs, that's what it is, mate. So well done, Paddy. 3-2 to yourself. We've got 2 left for the gentleman. Next up is this guy.
Oh,
what?
Celtic. Houston Hurricane.
Oh,
And then back to Celtic. Shockingly, only 10 caps for Scotland. And I found this one interesting. 3 for the Scottish League 11 Select. Imagine they brought that back. That would be quite good, wouldn't it? I was just thinking back to the sort of Seville team and that Rangers team at the time. Imagine they combined both their teams, man. What sort of team you would have? Jesus Christ. You'd scud everybody. So, Stephen, I'll put it up again for you. And again, my man, I'm going to give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right,
Stephen.
I'm going to have a guess. I'm having a guess. Remember, I was born in 1980. 1980.
The goals there should give you a little bit.
Well, that's what I did. So I went for one of the Lisbon Lions, and with the goals, I went for Lennox.
Bobby Lennox.
Bobby Lennox, just at a guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I went for Bobby Lennox as well.
And it was indeed Saltcoat's favourite son, Bobby Lennox. He did. He went over to America, remember?
Yeah.
And he came back. And what a player, what a man. Very, very humble gentleman, and has never left Saltcoats ever. Just a quiet wee guy kicking about the town. Absolutely brilliant. So let's have a wee look. Yep, well done, Mike. Well done, Smell the Glove. Yep, Plunge, it was the Buzz Bomb. Well done, Alison. Well done, our Lorna. Well done, our John. Sean, well done. You've got a new cheerleader here, Stephen. Lorna's delighted you got that as well.
Yes, 3 of them.
And there we go. And there's our Lisa Tay. Right, so it's 3-2. Sorry, 4-3 to our Paddy. We've managed to go through 4. We've got 1 left for the guys to get. Again, I've made it a wee toughie, this one. So let's see if they can manage to get this one. It is this guy. Ghana international, 70 caps. We signed him from Ruben Kazan on loan. Only played 5 games for Celtic, didn't manage to score. Played for Espanyol, Villarreal. So he played quite a bit in Spain. Played for Panathinaikos. Went back to Spain again. So very tough, this one. I'm not expecting many people to get this one. I'm going to come to Stephen.
I'm just making a guess for just because of his nationality. Do we know have was it Kamara? Did we know have a
Henri Kamara?
Good
Kamara?
I don't know. It's just like I'm just thinking, just with his country, but I'm sure that Kamara played more than 5 games for us.
Okay, Paddy.
Scott, I guessed this one. There was a couple in my head. I get this is a guy called Mubarak Wakaso, but it's just a guess.
Mubarak Wakaso. It was Mubarak Wakaso, the Ghanaian international who played for Celtic 5 times on loan. Let's see if anybody managed to get that one. Let's have a wee look. Alison thought it was Dumbelly. Smell the Glove is bang on. He was absolutely push. John Shirley thinks it was Musa Dembele. James Kennedy was very close with Andy Payton. Ian Bowie. and you don't want to know where I'm pulling these from. So well done, Paddy. Paddy has managed to get 5 out of 5 yet again. So Stephen's done very well tonight. He managed to get 3, and well done in the comments as well. That was.
Who's that player?
So, gentlemen, we've managed to get an hour and a half out of that tonight, which is pretty incredible, really, because as we all know, Celtic content these days is very hard to come by.
Yeah.
Again, we'll put it in the community chat which days we're going to be on next week, maybe Wednesday and Friday. Jerry's obviously on holiday, so we'll do our best to try and get on both days, but we'll go with the schedule of the World Cup. If there's any games on, obviously people want to watch that instead of watching our mugs on this podcast. So we'll just play it by ear. We'll see what games are on, see what the lads are doing. We'll get together on the group chat, and we'll see what sort of shows we can get on for you next week. Thank you very much, Paddy, for joining us this evening. Thank you very much, Stephen, as well. But most importantly, thank you very much to everybody in the chat for jumping on and giving us your company on this Friday night. A good show. I think it was an excellent show there, Mike. Yeah. It was excellent. Well done to everybody who got involved. Well done to Paddy again for winning the old Who's That Player. We'll see you when we see you. Keep an eye on the community page, on the YouTube page, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much.
Hail, hail, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.